It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Matt Harvey needs to deliver a quality start tonight. Matt Harvey needs to deliver a quality start tonight. Mets, Cubs, game one. And the Mets, if they're going to win, they need Harvey to go out and deliver the big-time performance and keep his team in the game that he is capable of delivering. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. I'm your host, Brady Farkas. Game one tonight, you can hear it right here, 8:07 on 104.5 The Team, 8:07 p.m., first pitch. Harvey needs to deliver the quality start. A quality start defined 6 innings or more, 3 earned runs or less. 6 innings or more, 3 earned runs or less. The Mets need that performance today if they're going to win for several reasons. First and foremost, the Mets are 0-7. The Mets are 0-7 against the Cubs this season. They need Harvey to go out and pitch well and deliver that quality start to show that the Mets can stay in the game with the Cubs and can beat the Cubs. 0-7 for the Metropolitans against the Cubbies this year. 2, Harvey needs to defend home field advantage for the Mets because his offense is not going to help him. The Mets, interestingly enough, 49-32 at home, 41-40 on the road. So they won 8 more games at Citi Field than they did away from Citi Field, but their offense much, much worse at home. The Mets hit just .233 at home compared to .250 on the road. They had less home runs at home, and they scored 67 less runs playing at Citi Field than they did when they were on the road. Matt Harvey needs to deliver that quality start, needs to keep his team in the game because his offense is not going to pick him up. We know it's an improved offense from when the Mets played earlier in the season. You know, up until August, really, the Mets offense looks different now than it did then. But regardless, the Mets offense has not had a good track record at home. Their offense, the offense needs Matt Harvey to pick it up today. It cannot be the other way around. If the Mets are going to beat the Cubs, Matt Harvey needs to deliver a quality start. 6 innings or more, 3 earned runs or less, because his offense will not be capable of picking him up at home. And look, Harvey did not look comfortable in that Game 3 NLDS win against the Dodgers. He gave up 2 earned runs in 5 innings. So you'll say, oh, Brady, but he battled through. He didn't have his best stuff, but he battled. All that is true when you look at the final result. But the process of how you got there, Matt Harvey did not look comfortable in Game 3 of the NLDS. He threw 97 pitches in those 5 innings. Matt Harvey has to be more efficient tonight so he can get that quality start, that 6 innings or more, that 3 earned runs or less. Matt Harvey needs to be more efficient with his pitch count. Why? He needs to be able to go deeper in the game. As we just said, he needs to go 6 innings at 3 earned runs or less. He's got to be more efficient with his pitch count. He's got to be able to go deep in the game. What's the thing we're most worried about with the Mets? It's their mid-relief. It's that bridge between the starters and Juris Familia. If Matt Harvey could go 6 innings, can go 7 innings, he reduces that bridge. Being more efficient will bring him more success. It'll save the bullpen for the rest of the series as well. Game 1 sets the tone. If you have to shoot your bullpen, go deep into your bullpen all the way through in Game 1, that sets you back big time for the series. So Matt Harvey's got a lot on his shoulders today. He needs to deliver that quality start. If he's going to throw 100 pitches, it better be through 6-7 innings and not 5. He's got to improve from what he did in Game 3. In Game 3, he threw 60% strikes. His strike percentage for the year is 68%. So he was not himself on that 10 days rest in Game 3 of the NLDS. Matt Harvey has got to be better tonight. He's got to deliver that quality start. Saves the bullpen, defends home field, gets rid of that bridge that we're worried about between the starter and the closer Familia. Matt Harvey is the key to tonight's Game 1. Mets, Cubs, 8:07. You can hear it right here on 104.5 The Team. That is your first pitch. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. Keeping with baseball, we've got, we talk about it all the time. We've got a lot of local players right now playing in professional baseball, from Garrett Whitley to Jamie Schultz to Jeff Hoffman to Brandon Cogswell to J.P. Sportman. There's a lot of guys currently playing in professional baseball from this area. But remember, there were guys that blazed the trail. Before those guys was Brendan Harris and Tim Stauffer. But before them was Jeff Keith, the Lansingburg High School product, who went on to play in the mid-90s with the San Francisco Giants organization, had a great career, a left-handed pitcher. He joins us now here on Capital Region Sports Saturday. And, Jeff, I have to ask you first and foremost, I know it was a week ago, but it's still on my mind. As a former player, I know you have a different perspective. The Chase Utley slide that took out Ruben Tejada, good old-fashioned baseball play or dirty slide?
It would be Chase Utley. He's been on the other end of that slide many, many times. As a matter of fact, I saw online right after it happened a picture of David Wright doing something very similar to him. So I don't think he had any malintent while doing it. I think it was a hard play. Look, he slid a little too late and he rolled. I got a little problem with that, but, I don't think he meant to do anything. I don't think he meant any malice with it.
I think that my opinion on it is this. If you want to call him out for interference and award the Mets the double play because it was a late slide and he went out of his way to go at Tejada, I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with him being suspended. Were you surprised as a former player that he was suspended for that?
Absolutely I was, especially from somebody like Joe Torre, who does come from an old school kind of thinking. Some of that stuff has kind of go by the wayside. I think it's good. They need to protect the players. The Buster Posey rule, maybe now they'll put in the Ruben Tejada rule, and I'll tell you, Brady, I think it's coming down the pike that they're going to. Look, we need to protect these guys. They make an awful lot of money, and if I were the owner or coach of one of these teams, I would be upset by it, by losing one of those players.
I saw a 2012 National League Division Series play. Matt Holliday, playing for the Cardinals, went right in late to Marco Scutaro. But because Marco Scutaro got up, we're not making this a huge deal. Do you think we're only talking about this now? Was the suspension only handed down because Tejada broke his leg? Is that the only reason why we're talking about this still?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is, Brady. Yep, there's no doubt about that. It was the result of what happened. Now, this is just my humble opinion. The Holiday slide, Holiday at least could touch the base. Chase Utley still hasn't touched the base. Once again, I don't think he meant to hurt the guy. He just meant to break up the play. But you can see, Brady, he didn't even try to touch the base. He just went in and rolled him. That to me was the difference.
They always say you never know what you're going to see each time you go to the ballpark, and that was certainly the case. Game 5, Blue Jays Rangers. Have you ever seen a play like what happened in the 7th inning where Russell Martin throws the ball back to the pitcher, but it hits Shin-Soo Choo's bat, who's the batter who's standing in the box. It rolls away, and that allows Rougned Odor to score. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I've never. I've seen some crazy plays in my life, Brady. I do want to say this. I was actually rooting for the Rangers, but I was glad to see the game not decided on that play because Russell Martin has been a classy player, a hard-nosed player for a very long time, and to see him defined by that play if they would have lost that game, I think would have done him a huge injustice. So I'm glad it didn't decide the game, but no, Brady, I've never seen anything quite like that. That was a little unique.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. On the phone right now with former local professional baseball player Jeff Keith. And, Jeff, this is going to be the talk of the awards season when the season ends. Who's your NL Cy Young winner? Is it Clayton Kershaw? Is it Zach Greinke? Or is it Jake Arrieta of the Cubs?
I would actually go with Arrieta, personally.
Really?
Although... Yes, I really would, Brady. And, the thing is, number one, it just feels good to have some new blood. That's all. You know what I mean? That's one of my main reasons. I think it's the total story. Number one, I think Greinke and Kershaw are going to steal votes from one another because they're on the same team.
Yes.
The Arrieta story, here's a guy who, Baltimore kind of gave up on him, always had a little bit of talent. Now he's had that elite season. And especially for the Cubs, their expectation was not there. John Lester was supposed to be the #1 guy. Unfortunately for a guy like Clayton Kershaw, Brady, my opinion is the poor guy is expected to do that. It's like, wow, what a great year. Well, yeah, but he's expected to do that. And then Jake Arrieta comes out, and you're like, wow, look at this guy pitching for the Cubs. You know, that's a great story. So it's probably influenced my decision. But, yeah, I'd give it to Arrieta.
Jeff, you were one of the first guys from the area, played at Lansingburg High School. You were one of the first guys from the Capital Region to get out and get into professional baseball. How cool is it for you to now see this success that local ball players are having at the professional level? I mean, look, Jeff Hoffman drafted in the first round 2 years ago, Garrett Whitley this past year, and Ian Anderson of Shen is a probable first-round pick this year. This has to be pretty cool for you to see, huh?
It's really, really cool. And I got to tell you, Brady, the one thing I'm most impressed about is, you know, growing up here, growing up in the Capital District, like you said, and, you know, in the late 80s and early 90s when I was in high school, you know, our community, the Capital District in general, was really known as a soccer community. You know, guys like Miles Joseph, you know, from Shenandoah was a big name. And even though I didn't play soccer, I knew who he was because he was such an elite athlete. Soccer was really the thing. I got to tell you, we are a baseball town, and if people don't want to recognize that, they're crazy. The amount of talent that's coming out of here, Brady, is just amazing. Look, these guys are doing it, you know, people like the Hainer Sports Barn, 12, 13 years ago, these guys decided to do private lessons. Everybody looked at them like they were crazy. You know, you got to give credit to those guys. A guy like George Rogers, you know, for starting and building a program like the South Troy Dodgers. You know, look, people are just, they're sticking to one sport, they're specializing in it, and, you know, obviously it's paying off locally because we have some great talent here locally.
Jeff Keith, local former professional baseball player in the San Francisco Giants system, with us here at Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Jeff, thanks a lot for joining us, giving your take on the MLB playoffs. It's always good to hear from a former player's perspective. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again soon.
Brady, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, and congratulations on your new show. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Jeff Keith, local former professional baseball player with us, and disclaimer, Jeff Keith, like I said, one of the first guys from this area to get out and play professional baseball, actually coached me when I was 16 and 17. He was one of the best baseball minds that I ever played for. He's my favorite coach that I ever played for, and we'll certainly talk to him again soon to get his perspective. Jeff Keith played in the early and mid to late 90s with the San Francisco Giants organization. It is Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. High school football last night, the last day of the regular season, so teams making final pushes for sectional seedings, and the game of the night was in Class B as Ravenna, RCS takes down Chalmont, who has been a thorn in their side for years. Ravenna wins it 33-28. It was a matchup of two 6-0 teams, so Ravenna locks up the number one seed in Class B with the win. Logan Frangella for RCS, 4 catches, 148 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the win. Ravenna, the number one seed in Class B after a big win over Chalmont. Albany High School football, they're winless this season, but today marks the beginning of a new era for the Falcons. That's right. I said it. Albany High is going to be really good really soon. I'll tell you why next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Albany High School opens up its new turf football field, its new athletic facility tonight. A new era of Falcon athletics begins tonight. Albany High takes on CBA, 5:30 p.m. Brady, Albany High is winless this season. Brady, Albany High hasn't won a Class AA Section 2 game since 2007. How is this new field going to make the difference? Well, the answer is that this new field is a huge difference maker for Albany High, for their program. Head coach Joey DiPiazza joined us on October 3rd, and he told us this, which will start off the reasoning as to why this is a huge deal.
We'll be playing our first home football game in our school's history.
Right there. Again, this is why this is a huge deal. Joey DiPiazza, head Albany High coach, told us on October 3rd, and this is why this game tonight, the new Albany High School football field, this is why it's a huge deal.
We'll be playing our first home football game in our school's history.
First home football game in your school's history. And Joey DiPiazza, the head coach of Albany High, he will join us in about 3 minutes in preparation for this game. He'll join us in about 3 minutes. But first home game in school history. Albany High does not have a culture of winning here within the last decade. This new field will start that. The first home game in school history is major because now you no longer play at Bleecker Stadium. Kids that can't get to Bleecker Stadium, kids that have parents that work, kids that can't drive. There's playing off campus just limits your participation because kids simply can't get there. Kids can't get to practice. Kids can't get to games. Now you're playing right next to where they're in school every day. You walk right over after school. Boom, you're at practice. Boom. Now your mother doesn't have to worry about, or your father, or doesn't have to worry about getting home from work and getting you to practice at 3 o'clock. Well, now they can just be there to pick you up at 5:30 when the normal work day ends. So this new field will be able to increase student participation. And therefore, if you can increase student participation and player participation, well, now you're getting some of those athletes that maybe you weren't having on the roster before. That instantly makes your team better. And with a better team and that stadium being right next to the school, now you get more fans. Now you're able to get that student engagement and have that really proud, strong sense of school community. And that is what makes high school sports in this area. It's what makes high school sports everywhere so great. It's that pride that you feel in your school. And now these kids at Albany High, they're going to see what that's like for the first time, to be able to come back and be on their campus and wear their colors with pride. This is a huge deal. More players can play because they don't have to worry about getting to practice, and more fans can come. And the last piece of the puzzle, I know, Brady, Albany High, they haven't won a game yet this season. Why is this new field? How can high school football facilities, high school athletic facilities, all of a sudden turn the Falcons into a power? I'm not saying they're going to be a power, but I'm saying they're going to be really good really soon. I didn't just go out and say, oh, they're going to win multiple Section 2 titles. They're going to be relevant, they're going to be competitive, and they're going to be good. And this new field is the reason why. Albany High School, we've all known it for a long time. They have a lot of athletes at that school in your youth programs, but a lot of those kids, they don't make it to the varsity teams at Albany High because they've transferred out of there. They're playing at CBA. They're playing at Bishop Gibbons, Bishop McGinn, Green Tech, Albany Academy. A lot of them are playing in different places. Now you have this commitment to athletics, this recommitment to athletics by the district, by the community, by the administration. Those kids are going to want to stay. You're telling me that a kid who's 13, 14 years old who's thinking about transferring out of Albany High, now he's not thinking about that. He's got one of the premier facilities in the area to play at. And head coach Joey DiPiazza is with us now, Capital Region Sports Saturday. Coach, congratulations. I know you've been waiting for this day a long time. What are the emotions going to be like when you run out of the tunnel?
It's going to be pretty amazing. We're so excited to start a new era for athletics at Albany High School. Our first home game in our school's history on our own campus. And we're just excited to get there.
Coach, you came in with the mindset that you wanted to change the culture and turn it around at Albany High. Although that hasn't manifested in a win yet, you guys are much more competitive. You're playing much better. You're pretty close to where you want to be in this rebuilding process, right?
Absolutely. Our goal from day one is just to be better today than we were yesterday. And I'm so proud of the effort that our kids show every single day and just improving as football players.
Well, Coach, best of luck. You've joined us a bunch of times here throughout this whole process. Best of luck tonight against CBA. Hopefully that first win here is just hours away for you. Good luck.
All right. Hope to see everyone 5:30, Albany High School.
Joey DiPiazza, Capital Region Sports Saturday. First home game in Falcons school history tonight. Albany High no longer playing at Bleecker Stadium. And again, this field's a difference maker. Albany High is now, starting today, they've been playing well all season, but starting today, Albany High becomes a real threat in Section 2. Mark my words right now, Albany High becomes a real threat in Section 2 because of this field and because it allows more players that are already in this school to play because they can get to practice, they can get to games easier. You no longer have to worry about how am I even going to get to practice, and if I can't get there, then I can't play. Takes that element out of it. Kids can now play because the field's right next to school. Fans can come to the games because, again, right next to school. Students can stay after school and stay for the games. That is a huge deal. The crowd in Section 2, having that school community, big deal. And then lastly, kids are not going to want to transfer at the rate that they currently are from Albany High because they're going to have an elite facility to play at. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. RPI and Union hockey updates. RPI loses 4-3 last night to Alaska Anchorage. The Engineers is about as far away from home as you can be. They'll play Alaska Fairbanks tonight as well. They beat #1 Boston College last Sunday here at home, and Seth Abbott and his squad have really challenged themselves here in the early going with a very challenging schedule. Union ties Maine 1-1. They will play at home again tonight against the Black Bears. And contrary to RPI, Union is playing in the Capital Region for the entire month of October. The entire month of October, they've got every single game they play until Halloween is at home, and then on Halloween they're playing at RPI, so they don't leave the Capital Region for, I think it's their first 7 games. I think the first 7 games will all be in the Capital Region. I think this is a great thing. Head coach Rick Bennett told me earlier this week he's not so sure about that.
It's been nice. You come together, but again, you just hope that, guys don't get bored with playing so many home games. And, there's an old saying, especially with the hockey players, that, having a long road trip, you come together. But we're just trying some different things here to try to keep it fresh, that we don't fall into that trap.
Yeah, Rick Bennett doesn't want his players to get bored and complacent playing at home. He doesn't. He thinks that going on the road gives the team a chance to come together, more camaraderie. All that's true, but Rick Bennett, I'm here to tell you that playing at home, for playing in the Albany area for your entire first month, is a great thing. It's a great thing for you. Okay, the chance to play at home in front of your home fans and gain fan support early is crucial. Okay, remember, we're coming off. We're still in baseball season when you talk about the playoffs. We're in high school football season right now. We're in college football season right now. We're up against the NFL. The NHL opened earlier this week, and a lot of people, they're not in hockey mode yet. Be happy to be playing at home because it allows the fans to get re-engaged with hockey. They're going to have 6-7 chances to see you here in the season's opening month, and a chance to get your team more exposure in the Capital Region, and a chance to get more fan support early and get this area re-energized with the idea of hockey. They need a little bit of a push to be pushed towards hockey season. You playing at home for the first month is a great thing for that reason. It's a chance to gain confidence and play well. Obviously, you play when you play at home, you know your rink. You know how the puck bounces off your own boards. You know the temperature of your rink. All those things are things that you're used to. All those things are things that you don't have to adjust to like you do when you play on the road. So that there gives you confidence, allows you to play well. Now you get a couple wins early on by playing at home. Now Union is just 1-0-2. They've got 2 ties in these first 3 games, so you'd like to see them get one more on the differential and get a couple wins out of these home games. But playing at home allows you to get confidence, allows you to play well, and allows you to get some wins. It allows you to really jumpstart your season, and that gives you the confidence when you go forward. And lastly, playing so many games at home early means you'll be on the road late. 7 of Union's last 11 games are on the road, and that's great for Union because it allows you to play in tough environments. It allows you to play in tough environments at the end of your season when you head in towards a conference tournament, when you head in towards a possible NCAA berth. Playing on the road at the end of the season, 7 of the last 11 for Union are going to be on the road, and that helps you play in those tough environments when you get towards your conference tournament and when you get towards a potential NCAA tournament. Union's trying to win a national championship again. That's what this program is now. The standard is after having done it 2 years ago, and going on the road at the end of the year will help them get acclimated to playing in those tough environments. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Dion Lewis is on the Patriots injury report. He's got an ab injury. He's listed as questionable for the big Patriots at Colts matchup, Sunday Night Football. So that's tomorrow, 8:30. Does Dion Lewis intend to play? Everything tells me that Dion Lewis is going to play. #1, the Patriots injury report is always you take it with a grain of salt. I do believe Dion Lewis is battling an injury, but I don't believe that Dion Lewis is not going to play. I looked earlier today. at various sites. I saw nothing about him being doubtful, nothing about him being out, nothing about him playing limited snaps. Yahoo's fantasy update has him listed as they would be shocked if he didn't play, and frankly, I would as well. Dion Lewis is a key cog in the Patriots machine. I don't see him not playing, but it will be something to monitor. And the Colts, they're ready for him. Unlike Rex Ryan, who refused to acknowledge Dion Lewis's existence, head coach Chuck Pagano of the Colts said he knows how good Dion Lewis is.
Very, very difficult to get down on the ground. And he's a huge threat. He's second leading receiver on their team in the pass game.
Dion Lewis is a big threat for the Patriots. I just don't see any way in which he does not play tomorrow. But again, the Albany native listed as questionable as the Patriots head into New England. And frankly, I don't think anything's going to make the difference. I think Dion Lewis playing certainly helps Tom Brady and company. But I think Tom Brady and company will be plenty motivated, as the Colts are the team that threw out the Deflategate allegations. So I think Dion Lewis will play. I think he'll play well. And I think the rest of the Patriots will play well. The Patriots, in my mind, they're the number one team in the NFL. Much like Mohawk Honda is number one, they strive to be number one in everything they do. They strive for perfection every day by providing the most impeccable customer service, and they know that that's the key to any success. And Mohawk Honda, they're open all the time, okay? Extended hours in all of their departments to better service you. You can shop over 10 acres of savings opportunities or online 24/7 at MohawkHonda.com. They've got over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available to select from, and they'll provide you the lowest no-hassle price to suit your budget. You can ask about their Mohawk Honda Exchange program with any of their Mohawk Exchange specialists. They'll assist you in upgrading your current vehicle to a newer one with no money down for the same or lower payment. Please ask for Tiffany, Katie, or Vide to see just how easy it is to exchange your vehicle for the same or lower payment. Being number one isn't easy, but at Mohawk Honda, they treat their customers with respect and have been doing so for almost 100 years. That's 4 generations of the Heridan family serving the capital region. Shop their convenient Route 50 in Glenville location to join the number one automotive family at Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. Matt Harvey has the ball tonight. Game 1, Mets vs. Cubs. How confident should we all be? Jeff Paternostro of Amazing Avenue and Baseball Prospectus, he tells us next.
Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Yes, we are back. Capital Region Sports Saturday on the phone with Jeff Paternostro of Amazing Avenue, Baseball Prospectus. You've seen him on the MLB Network. Mets taking on the Cubs tonight, Game 1, NLCS. Jeff, you're a Mets fan first and foremost. What were your emotions like on Thursday night watching the Mets clinch against the Dodgers in the NLDS?
It's just one of those games. I've seen 3 of them in my lifetime. Do or die elimination game. 1988 against the Dodgers, 2006 against the Cardinals, and this year. Not a good track record coming in, if I'm honest. But I didn't really get nervous at any point in time, I think, because there's just that moment where it's like, well, this is Zach Greinke. They're not supposed to win this game. Coming into the series, they've got to face Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke 4 times. They've got to win 2 of them. It's weird coming into the underdog. They were the favorite in 2006. They were the favorite in 1988. As I remember, I was 6 years old. But it's just one of those games that you just have to sort of watch and be sort of catatonic for the entire thing.
Jacob deGrom gives up 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning. I was following you on Twitter, Jeff. You were calling for the bullpen to get loose, so you had to have been at least a little nervous.
Okay, yes. It's an elimination game. Terry Collins has never managed in the playoffs. He's never managed in an elimination game, sort of an all-hands-on-deck type game. And it's like deGrom didn't have great command in the first start, but he figured it out pretty quickly. He fell behind a few guys, but he battled through, settled down. It just didn't look like that was going to happen again. And you can't punt the game. You have to have somebody up ready to get through the end of the inning, and then Syndergaard behind him. You've got Syndergaard on regular rest. We know what he can do. You can't have Jacob deGrom lose that game on the mound if you don't think he has it. But, that's why I'm sitting here in my chair in my apartment waiting for a NLCS Game 1, and Terry Collins is managing the team. At the end of the day, you got to tip your cap. He did what he had to do. He had trust in his ace. They played 9 innings, and the only people that threw in that game were Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, and J.R. Familia. You can't argue with that.
Daniel Murphy carried the offense in this series. 2 home runs off Clayton Kershaw, a homer off Greinke in Game 5. This guy, we didn't even know what his future in New York was not too long ago. How impressive is it what Murph did?
It's very impressive. The playoffs make strange heroes. I don't know if Murphy is really a strange choice to carry the team for 5 games, because there's one thing we know about Daniel Murphy. Daniel Murphy is incredibly streaky, and when he gets going, you can't get him out. The power is a little weird. Every once in a while, you'll see him run into one, and when he hits home runs for the Mets over the years, they're usually bombs. Like, usually you see him, he's slapping the ball to left center is what he does, fighting off pitches. But every once in a while, he'll get a pitch, middle in, and he'll pull it. And he just happened to do it 3 times this series, off 2 of the best pitchers in baseball. I saw a great stat that he had 2 home runs off Kershaw in the series, as you said. That's the only left-handed pitcher he has multiple home runs off of in his career.
You mentioned Familia, 16 batters faced, 16 batters retired. How incredible has his run been this year? Because originally that was supposed to be Henry Mejia at the beginning of the year. It wasn't even supposed to be Familia in that spot.
I don't remember if I said this when I talked with you preseason, but I had my concerns about Familia after last year. I know his numbers were great, but he had some issues with lefties. He didn't strike out a ton of guys for like a top-level closer. But right around, he had that little blip after the All-Star break, added in that 95-mile-an-hour splitter, and since then he's just been unhittable. And he's a bulldog. I had no doubts about bringing him in for 6 outs there. That's the guy you want to give the ball to. I know Syndergaard looked great in the 7th, but he got up and down a lot in that game with DeGrom struggles. You don't know as a starter if you can get up and down between innings like that and come back out and they really act like a multi-inning reliever. You just don't know. You do know J.R. Familia can. You know he's going to come in and throw a 98-mile-an-hour sinker, a 95-mile-an-hour split, and a 90-mile-an-hour slider. I want that guy on the mound. Take your chances. And he delivered. And he was great the entire series. And he's going to be one of the keys, I think, going forward against the Cubs. How many innings can you get out of him? And Terry rode his horses in Game 5, and that's what you have to do.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. On the phone with Jeff Paternostro of Amazing Avenue and Baseball Prospectus. Jeff, how confident are you and Matt Harvey going into Game 1 of the NLCS?
I don't know. He looked, for all the talk about innings limits and innings counts and Scott Boras and arbitration awards and 2018 free agency, this is still a guy that's coming off Tommy John surgery. He's never thrown 190 innings in a season. He looked gassed in Game 3. So I don't know what to expect in Game 1. I think really anything's possible. Matt Harvey is still a very good Major League pitcher. He's a tough dude. He wants the ball, I think, in this spot. I just will have to see if his body and his right arm can hold up to it.
You were at Citi Field for both games at home in the division series. Are you going to get a chance to make it out to the NLCS? And what do you expect the crowd to be like? Because you told me off air that you've never seen anything like what you saw at Citi Field last week.
I mean, I knew it was going to be something Game 3. I was walking around field level right before the game. And right when the Dodgers' introduction started, just the level of noise that was coming down from the entire stadium. I think they were just booing the training staff. That's who got announced first. And then, of course, Utley got announced, and it just took it to another level. And then the Granderson double, bases clearing double to put them in the lead. And then eventually just building up to the Cespedes home run, which is the loudest I've ever heard Citi Field. And I think you're going to see something similar for Game 1 with Harvey on the mound. If they get out to a fast start there, it's going to be, this is what, as a Mets fan, you want. 45,000, however many people they're going to cram into that building, just going absolutely nuts for everything. And it makes a difference. I think it's sort of driving this team at this point.
Jeff Paternostro, Amazing Avenue Baseball Prospectus with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday. Jeff, best of luck to the Mets. Hey, you got to rest yesterday. Now you get to do it all again tonight. Mets-Cubs, Game 1. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks. I only have to do this maybe 14 more times.
Hey, you'd be all right with that. Maybe 8, though. Maybe just 8.
8's ideal, yeah.
8 times. 8 more games the Mets need to win the World Series, but they'll start that quest again tonight, Game 1, NLCS. Mets-Cubs, you can hear it here, 104.5 The Team, 8:07. Matt Harvey against John Lester. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday. I'm your host, Brady Farkas. We do this every Saturday, 9 to 10 a.m. Section 2 football, last day of the regular season. Last week of the regular season is this week. Last night, top performers, Brett Rodriguez of Queensbury, 22 carries, 230 yards, and a modest 5 touchdowns in the Queensbury win over Green Tech. Dakota Harvey of Saratoga, a similar output, 10 carries only, but He didn't need that many carries to get 227 yards and 3 touchdowns in the Blue Streaks win over Ballston Spa. Big game on tap today as Class D 6-0 Whitehall takes on 6-0 Cambridge. The number 1 seed in sectionals is on the line. Capital Region Sports Saturday. Albany soccer player Vivian Vega invited to try out for the Mexican national under-20 team. And what does that really mean? It means that she's going to leave Albany for a handful of days here later this month. Actually, in 2 days, she's going to leave on the 19th. So she's been invited to try out to compete with the U20 Mexican national team in preparation for the 2015 CONCACAF Women's U20 Championship. That takes place in December. She's going to leave October 19th through the 23rd. She's going to head to Tijuana to train with the team. And this is in preparation for the Under-20 World Cup. Under-20 World Cup, that's pretty cool stuff. Vivian Vega, she gave her take on it earlier this week.
I'm very excited, but I know this is going to be a lot tougher now that it's for the U20s, so much more competition than it was before.
She previously played for the U17 national team as well. If she's selected for this team, she'll get to go with the U20 Mexican national team to the 2015 CONCACAF Women's U20 Championship in Honduras, which is in December. Mexico was the runner-up to that tournament in 2014, so Vega will help to look the Mexican national team over the hump. And the winner of that tournament will automatically qualify for the 2016 FIFA U20 Women's World Cup, which is in Papua New Guinea. Vega leads Albany with 6 goals this season. So really, really cool stuff coming out of Albany. And look, Albany's got a good international presence on their sports teams. And now it's great to see these Albany athletes, these local stars that you go watch that we follow playing for their national teams. Peter Hooley was on 2 weeks ago, and he played for the Australian national team this summer in the World University Games. So Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, where they always strive for perfection every day. Over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available to select from. They're open extended hours in all of their apartments to better service you. You can shop over 10 acres of savings opportunities or online 24/7 at MohawkHonda.com, and they'll provide you the lowest no-hassle prices to suit your budget. A business can have all of that, but without providing the customer with the professional service experience they've always been looking for and deserve, nothing else matters. At Mohawk Honda, they've got over 180 trained automotive experts going above and beyond to make sure all of your needs are met. If new isn't for you, they inventory over 300 of the highest quality pre-owned vehicles all at one, below market value, no hassle price. Shop their convenient Route 50 in Glenville location to join the #1 automotive family at Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. Everyone nationally is talking about Michigan versus Michigan State. The big college football game you should care about locally is Northwestern and Iowa. You'll find out next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. On the phone with Northwestern running back, Shenendehowa graduate Corey Acker, the #20 Wildcats hosting #17 Iowa today. Corey, you guys took your first loss last week against a much improved Michigan team. What are the keys for you guys to get back in the win column this week?
I mean, we're playing another great team, but we had a great practice week, and I think just going out there and playing like we did the first 5 weeks will get us back on the win board.
Michigan is obviously kind of the talk of the town right now. Jim Harbaugh's first year certainly have exceeded expectations already. They beat you guys 38-0. Just how good did the Wolverines look?
I mean, they played an awesome game. All credit goes to them. We didn't come out and play our best, but we also made a lot of mistakes that we saw we could fix, so we just got to avoid doing that again.
So, again, Iowa comes to town today. The Hawkeyes are 6-0, a very good team coming into Evanston. What are the keys to slow them down today? What's the game plan?
We're just focused on being physical. We're playing another big team up front, so just being physical, avoiding turnovers, because that was a big problem on last Saturday, and dominating in the special teams area.
Iowa's running back is Jordan Canzeri. Canzeri is a Troy High School graduate who you know from high school. He was named National Offensive Player of the Week last week. It's not often, I'm sure, you get to play against another Section 2 product out there in the Big Ten, but how cool is it to see another guy from this area doing so well in your own conference?
I mean, it's awesome. I think it's really cool, but at the same time, we got to focus on beating him. My sophomore year of high school, I played against him in the Section 2 championship, and he dominated us. So I'm hoping that I get some vengeance on that.
You had some of your own carries this year against Eastern Illinois, including a big 30-yard run. How cool was that to break one up the middle and then bust it down the sideline?
It was awesome. Finally get a chance to carry the ball. Just took the most out of my opportunities. Thought I scored one, but guess I stepped out of bounds a little early.
Well, just before the end zone. But you had the Shen coaching staff going crazy on Twitter with that run, so it must be cool for you to know you've got all the support back home here from your high school and from the local community.
Yeah, definitely. It means a lot. They always text me and talk about Shen, talk about Northwestern. It's a nice little friendship we got going.
How is Coach Pat Fitzgerald, your coach over at Northwestern? We see him all the time or hear him all the time on this station. He's on with Mike and Mike frequently because Mike Greenberg is a Northwestern product. What's it like to play for him?
I mean, it's awesome. He's a great coach. He's a real nice guy. When it comes down to it, if he needs to, he'll get really serious, but at the same time, he's down to have fun. So it's nice to have both of people in him.
Corey Acker, Northwestern running back, Shenendehowa graduate, part of some very successful teams at Shenendehowa. The Wildcats taking on number 17, Iowa, that game at Northwestern this afternoon. Corey, best of luck. Thanks for talking with us. We'll follow you along here the rest of the season, and best of luck to the Wildcats.
Thank you.
Northwestern and Iowa, 12 o'clock noon, that game on ESPN2. And in the Capital Region, you should care. Bottom line, you should care about Northwestern and Iowa. You got Corey Acker, a guy who carries the ball occasionally, plays on some special teams for Northwestern, and Jordan Canzeri, the Troy High grad for Iowa. It's one of the top running backs in the country. One of the top running backs in the country is right here in the Capital Region. He was named National Offensive Player of the Week last week. Had 256 yards in the Big Ten as Iowa beat Illinois last week. Iowa's undefeated. Canzeri is a major reason why. He's got 9 rushing touchdowns this year to go along with a handful of receiving touchdowns. He's a bulldozer. He is just a bulldozer. He will run through you. He will run around you. He will run right over you. And he is a major reason why Iowa is 6-0 and why our own producer Gaz, if you listen to Armin Levac weekdays 3 to 7 right here on this station, producer Gaz, he texted me earlier this week. He goes, if Iowa gets by Northwestern, they could go undefeated. They could go undefeated if they get by Northwestern. So, again, a big game in the Big Ten in the middle of the country that has a lot of appeal here locally. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. College football within the Capital District, within the 518 today. Albany at home at 3:30, Bob Ford Field at Casey Stadium. The Great Danes taking on Villanova. Villanova ranked number 25 in the FCS polls. Albany 2-4 overall. Villanova is 2-3. The Wildcats have played a challenging schedule. Danes are struggling right now is an optimal word. They have lost their last 2 games by a combined score of 76-7. And really, what's going wrong for Albany? Well, it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Is the offense struggling and therefore the defense is on the field and they're struggling? Or the defense can't stop anyone? It's a little bit of both. Albany is 10th in total offense, they're 10th in total defense, and they're 10th in first downs. So right there, that tells you the offense for Albany isn't moving the ball well enough and increasing that time of possession. So the defense is on the field. They've got more opportunities to give up points, and it has showed. Albany has allowed 35 points or more in 4 of their 6 games this season. All 4 losses. They've allowed 35 points or more in 4 of their 6 games. All 4 of those games are losses. They beat Duquesne 17-14. They beat Rhode Island 35-7. So when the offense has moved the ball and kept the defense off the field, defense has played well. When Albany can't really move the ball that well and the defense is on the field, Danes are getting beat, and they're getting beat handily. Okay? The Danes defense is 11th of 12 in the Colonial Athletic Association in points allowed, and I believe they're just 1 point up on Rhode Island for the 12th spot. So the Danes offense, what they need to do is they need to simplify things. They need DJ Crook to move the ball rhythmically in the passing game. They've got good playmakers on the outside. Z. Roberson is a very good target. A very good target on the outside for Albany and for DJ Crook. They've got to move the ball within the middle of the field. They've got to run the ball between the tackles with Elliot Krosky, a slew of running backs that they use, and then their defense. So they've got to use time of possession on offense to their advantage. And then defensively, Albany's got to be able to stop the Wildcats on 3rd down. Villanova's too good. They're 2-3, but they're number 25 nationally. It tells you how good they are. Albany is a heavy underdog in this game. If they're going to win in front of the home faithful after getting blown out last week, they're going to need a much better performance from all sides of the ball. Albany does excel on special teams. They are second in the conference, I believe, in punt return average. So if they could turn the game with a big special teams play, that will help them as well. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. Mets, Cubs tonight. That is the headline today. That's the headline. Mets, Cubs tonight is everything you need to know. We've got a great day of college football. We've got Ohio State, Penn State. We've got Northwestern Iowa. We've got Michigan, Michigan State. But we've got Mets, Cubs. And you can hear it right here on this station. 8:07 is your first pitch. That game at Citi Field. Matt Harvey against John Lester. The winner of this series goes to the World Series. Cubs and Mets fighting for a chance to go to the World Series. The predictions, I've got Cubs in 6. I'm sorry, Met fan. I know. Look, I'm rooting for him. I really am. I love DeGrom. I love Noah Syndergaard. I like Matt Harvey. I love Juan Lagares. I love a lot of things about the Mets. And I don't buy into the Cubs as just the darling that everyone wants to win. I think the Cubs are really good. And I think that their pitching sets up well, whereas the Mets doesn't. The Mets had to go to DeGrom in Game 5. They're not going to have him most likely until Game 3 of this series. I don't see him coming back to pitch tomorrow in Game 2, so they're probably not going to have him until Game 3. I think Harvey pitches well tonight. I think he beats Lester. I think Arrieta comes out and throws Game 2 for the Cubs. I think he wins that. We go back to Chicago, tied at 1. And then I think the Cubs start to play well at Wrigley in front of those fans. I think the Cubs win it in 6. I think the Mets make it very competitive. Remember, the Mets are 0-7 against the Cubs this year. I think they'll break that streak, but I don't think that they will get to the World Series for the first time since the 2000 season. But hey, we've got another show next week, and could be a very, very different story that we're talking about come next Saturday. Again, Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda. We do it every single Saturday here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. If you missed any of our interviews, if you missed any of the content here at 104.5 The Team, from Armin Levac to A-Dubs and Gaz to myself, you can go youtube.com/team1045. This podcast will be up Monday morning. If you missed any part of this, any part of Capital Region Sports Saturday, that podcast will be up 1045theteam.com and youtube.com/team1045 on Monday morning. You can follow us on Twitter at 1045theteam. Armin and Levac are back on Monday. They're breaking down the MLB playoffs. They're breaking down the Mets. They're breaking down week 6 in the NFL season as we continue to go through. Again, RPI and Union hockey both in action today. Union at home against Maine. RPI far away from home in Alaska. We'll be monitoring Dion Lewis's workload tomorrow. I expect him to play as the Patriots take on the Colts in the Deflategate rematch. Northwestern Iowa, that's what you should care about. And Mets, Cubs tonight, 8:07 right here, 104.5 The Team. We'll see you next week, Capital Region Sports Saturday.